The July 16th, 2014 meeting of the Hampton City School Board will now come to order. Let the record show that all school board members are present, as well as the school board attorney, Nancy Reeves, and school board clerk, Carolyn Bowers. We will now have our invocation and pledge, and we are absolutely delighted to have this evening Tatiana Wheeler. She is a rising sixth grader that will be going to Jones School. And so, Tatiana, you just finished at Booker, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will now rise for the invocation and pledge.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will be reciting a poem written by Robert Louis Stevenson called Bed in Summer. In winter, I get up at night and dress by yellow candlelight. In summer, quite the other way, I have to go to bed by day. I have to go to bed and see the birds still hopping on the tree, or hear the grown-up people's feet still going past me in the street. And does it not seem hard to you when all the sky is clear and blue? And I should like so much to play, to have to go to bed by day.
I had to tell you, a long time ago, when I was in school, I had to memorize that poem. And I remembered almost all of it. Isn't that amazing? Tell me, what have you been doing this summer?
I have been on a swim team called the Tide Riders.
And how are you doing?
Good and getting better.
Okay, great. Do you have any special plans this summer?
To, hang out, have fun, and...
Oh, you're going to read any books, do any math problems?
A little.
Good answer. Tatiana, do you have anybody here with you this evening?
Yes. My teacher, principal, and mom, brother.
All right, would you please stand so we could recognize you? Well, Tatiana, thank you so much for being here this evening, and I especially want to tell you to have a great time here at Jones next year, and we look forward to hearing great things about you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I will now entertain a motion from the board to appoint one of its members as chair for the 2014 through 15 academic year. Mr. Kilgore?
It's my honor to nominate Martha Mugler as the chair of the board.
Second by Mrs. Henry. Any discussion? Carolyn, call for the vote.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. As we continue on with the completion of our requirements for the annual organizational meeting, we move to item 2.02, which is the election of vice chairman. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Harper?
it is my pleasure once again to nominate Mr. Dave Pearson.
Second.
Mr. Dave Pearson has been nominated for vice chairman and seconded, nominated by Mr. Harper and seconded by Mr. Samuels. Is Ms. Bowers, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Mr. Pearson is elected vice chairman. Moving on to item 2.03, the school board, upon the recommendation of our superintendent, has suggested an appointee for our clerk. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we suggest we accept the recommendation of the superintendent to appoint Carolyn Bowers as our clerk.
Second.
And there is a bond involved in the clerk's position. We normally set a bond at $10,000 in keeping with past practice. Would you like to amend your motion?
I'd be happy to. It was on item
include that?
2.03. Madam Chairman, let me amend my motion to include that the board approve the necessary bond for the clerk as is our practice.
Second again.
It's been moved by Ms. Henry and seconded by Mr. Harper that we appoint Carolyn Bowers as our school board clerk. Ms. Bowers, would you call for the vote?
Ms. Smith? Aye. Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson? Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Ms. Bowers shall serve as the school board clerk for our 2014-15 school year. Moving on to item 2.04, the school board shall appoint a deputy clerk. Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we accept the recommendation of the superintendent to appoint Susan Barr as deputy clerk of the school board.
Second?
And it has been moved and seconded that we appoint Sue Barr as the deputy clerk. This also carries with it a $10,000 bond, which we need to include in our motion. Would you like to amend?
Yes, I amend the motion to add the $10,000 bond requirement.
It has been moved and seconded that we appoint deputy clerk of the school board with a bond of $10,000 in keeping with past practice, Ms. Sue Barr as our deputy clerk. Ms. Bowers, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith? Aye. Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Ms. Sue Barr will serve as our deputy school board clerk for 2014-2015. She's not here tonight, is she? We would like to recognize her, but lucky Ms. Barr gets to not attend all of these meetings. Then we'll move on to item 2.05, which is fixing a time and date and place for holding our regular meetings for the ensuing year. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Kilgore?
Madam Chair, I move that the board hold school board meetings on the first and third Wednesday of each month at 6:30 p.m., with the first meeting being held at Jones Magnet Middle School and the other meeting being held at the Rupert Sargent Building, with the calendar as presented on BoardDocs.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Kilgore and seconded by Mrs. Smith that we hold our school board meetings on the first and third Wednesdays of each month at 6:30 p.m., with the first meeting being held here at Jones Magnet Middle School and the other meeting being held at Rupert Sargent Building, with the calendar as presented. And for school board members and those in attendance, there is an attached calendar to our school board docs, and I believe everybody's had an opportunity to review that. Ms. Bowers, would you call for the vote?
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith? Aye. Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries, and our school board meetings will be held at 6:30 p.m. on the first and third Wednesday of every month, with the first meeting being held here at Jones Magnet Middle School and the second meeting being held at the Rupert Sargent Building at 1 Franklin Street. Item 2.06, the school board shall approve a designee of the superintendent to attend meetings of the school board and represent the superintendent in the absence of the superintendent. Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve Dr. Patricia Johnson as the superintendent's designee for the remainder of this school year.
Second.
It's been moved by Mrs. Henry and seconded by Mr. Harper that Dr. Patricia Johnson serve as the designee for the superintendent to attend meetings of the school board and represent the superintendent in the absence of the superintendent. Ms. Bowers, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith? Aye. Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. Dr. Patricia Johnson will be serving as the superintendent's designee for school year 2014-15. And our final item under our organizational segment is item 2.07, and that is the appointment of student liaison and alternate. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve Malcolm Richardson as the student liaison and Nia Gray as the alternate.
Second.
It's been moved by Mrs. Smith and seconded by Mr. Samuels that we appoint Malcolm Richardson as a student liaison and Nia Gray as the alternate student liaison. Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries, and Malcolm Richardson is now duly appointed as our student liaison for the school year 2014-15, and his alternate will be Ms. Nia Gray. And at this time, I have the pleasure of swearing in our student liaison. So, Mr. Richardson, if you'll join me up on the stage. All right. So I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
the duties
the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as the school board student liaison
as the school board student liaison
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
There you go. Okay, and there's one other item I want to handle under our organization. It's really not an organizational thing so much as it is a little birdie kind of told us a little something. She didn't tell us herself, but Dr. Shiflett is here celebrating her birthday with us. And so we have a little surprise, and I'd like everyone to join me in singing to Dr. Shiflett. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dr. Shiflett. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I have to tell you how special today has been. I got a very early phone call from my two grandchildren. They're 4 and 3. They sang me happy birthday. And so now I get it from all of these wonderful people here. So I've had such an amazing day. So thank you, everyone. And I'll cut the cake at the end of the meeting. How about that? Thank you.
Yes, that's the plan. So if you all can stay,
a
we'd love to
beautiful
share
cake.
some cake with you.
Do we need to tell them, Dr. Shiflett, the official name for that happy birthday in the morning was Mimi, right?
Oh, that's right.
Happy birthday,
Birthday
dear
with
Mimi.
Mimi.
So, happy birthday, Dr. Shiflett.
Thank you.
And congratulations, Malcolm Richardson, and welcome to your official seat at the board table. And we look forward to working with you during this upcoming school year.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our consent agenda tonight. We have two items, item 4.01, Personnel Report 14-12, and the minutes of the special school board meeting of June 25. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Kilgore and seconded, was that you, Mrs. Henry?
Yes, ma'am.
By Mrs. Henry, that we approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Samuels?
Madam Chairperson, because I was not a part of the deliberation, I'm going to abstain from voting.
Ms.
Okay.
Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. We move on to superintendent and staff reports, and I turn things over at this time to Dr. Shiflett.
Thank you, Ms. Mugler. Our first report this evening is an update from Mr. Joe Johnson from New Horizons Regional Education Center. As you have heard earlier, we are doing a long overdue building addition over at the Woodside campus to house our special education programs. And so we've asked Dr. Johnson to come this evening to provide us with an update on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, and happy birthday, Dr. Shiflett.
Thank you.
I first want to thank Mr. Harper for being our representative from this board to New Horizons, and for the many of you who came and toured New Horizons this year. Very much appreciate that. The last time I was here talking about the special education facility, we had just obtained a loan of $11 million and to build a new facility at the Woodside Lane campus. And much has occurred since. It seems to be very slow to me, but I realize that a lot has occurred. Just to provide an overview, as you know, this will be a new 50,000 square foot facility that will house the high school Center for Autism program, as well as all the students served as part of our new Newport Academy K through 12 students who have emotional disabilities. New Horizons for the entire region provides intensive special ed services for those students with autism or emotional disorders that cannot be served in the home schools. Up to this point, we have had modular buildings and some renovated space within Woodside Lane, and for the first time since the regional program came under New Horizons, we'd be building a new facility to have a gym, a cafeteria, kitchen, great learning facilities, vocational areas, as well as therapy program spaces. So we're really excited for this new opportunity, this new facility. The facility is being constructed and funded by New Opportunity LLC, which was formed by our Education Foundation. And to where we are right now, we are this close to our wetland permit. That has taken us quite a bit of time. We have gotten through the Army Corps of Engineer. We're now with their delineation impacting less than 1/10 of an acre. Therefore, we could have a joint permit. It is not going to cost us about the $400,000 we thought it was going to take in mitigation. We have approval now from the Virginia Department of Historic Resources, and we're in the final steps with the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality. They've asked for one more study, and that's for a particular salamander that may be in the area, and that was conducted last Saturday. So hopefully we will have that report to them, and we'll be able to get that permit by the end of the month. In terms of our site plan, with new stormwater regulations and everything that has come into play July 1, we realized that our water quality lacked phosphorus count. Not an expert in this area, but we did have to buy 3 pounds worth at $16,000 a pound from the Chesapeake Nutrient Bank. And so we have finalized all of that, and the Site plan is in final review as well. And then hopefully we will get a building permit. Some great news is that we had 3 contractors bid on the project. We had estimated it was going to cost $9.3 million to construct in the basic construction of the building. The bids came in at $7.6. So we were very pleased with that. Of the 3 bids, they were within $80,000 of each other, which was amazing. And so we have now signed a contract with the Blue Ridge General Construction Company, which is on the Chesapeake side, on the, I think located in Chesapeake area. And they will begin the construction as soon as we get the permitting process. We're looking at 15 months from the time we get the permits to the building being finished, which would put us about November of 2015. So the wetland mitigation issue has caused us to be a little bit behind, but we're still in good shape of trying to move in by December of 2015. But this will just provide an exciting environment for the students that we get to serve with special needs, and one that they have well deserved for a long time. So that is sort of where we are. The building's completely designed. The colors are wonderful. We have involved, I know the question may be asked, especially as you just swore in your student rep, we did involve the students, which gave us a lot of input into the facility and how they saw the space and the flow. And so we've tried to create a very colorful but not too distracting environment for them to learn in. So that's sort of where we are at this point.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Are there questions from board members regarding the construction of the new site? Mrs. Henry?
Who was the architect on the project?
Architect is RRMM, also from Chesapeake. And they've been wonderful to work with.
Other comments or questions from board members or Mr. Johnson? We let you off easy tonight. It's July.
It is July. So hopefully for all the parents that y'all serve that have students at the regional center, they're going to be excited about this new facility to have their son or daughter in.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Thank
much
y'all.
to bring us up to date. Dr. Shiflett?
Thank you. Our next report is an introduction of our new Hampton City Schools administrators, and I'll ask that Dr. Patricia Johnson begin.
Good evening, Ms. Mugler, members of the board, Dr. Shiflett, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to begin our introductions tonight with our new curriculum leader for science, and I'll ask Ms. Venicia Farrell to please stand. I'll give you just a little bit of history. Ms. Farrell earned her master's in teaching and biology with a marine biology emphasis, a BS in marine and environmental science from Hampton University. She holds a gifted endorsement, a postmaster's certificate in educational leadership and administration, which she earned from George Washington University. She's been a lead science coordinator, an instructional specialist, a gifted resource teacher, an administrative intern, and she is coming back to Hampton City Schools, where she was an earth science and environmental science and oceanography teacher at Phoebus High School. I introduce to you Ms. Venicia Farrell, curriculum leader for science. Next, I would like to introduce to you Ms. Margaret Maggie Matthews, our new Director of Special Education. Ms. Matthews earned her BA in History from California State University. She holds a Master's in Education focused on the handicapped learner from Western Oregon State University. She holds an administrative license in Portland, Oregon, a Virginia postgraduate professional license in administration and supervision, history and social sciences and special education in the Commonwealth. Her most recent experience was Director of Student Services in Juneau, Alaska. She has also been a Manager of Student Services, a Coordinator, Director, and began her career as a teacher of special education. Introduce to you our new Director of Special Education, Ms. Maggie Matthews. And rounding out our new members to Curriculum and Instruction, I'd like to introduce to you Ms. Kate Wolf, our new Professional Learning Coordinator. Ms. Wolf earned her BA in History from UVA. She holds a Master's in Elementary Education from the College of William & Mary and is seeking her doctorate in Educational Administration from the College of William & Mary. She is also certified K through 6 in administration. Most recently, she worked with Strong & Associates as the Director of Innovation and Development, and I can tell you, hopefully Dr. Strong will continue to talk to me, but we are very excited to have been able to steer her away. She was a research associate at the College of William & Mary, and she held the position of instructional coach, technology integration specialist, and also a teacher in a neighboring school division. Kate Wolf, our new Professional Learning Coordinator.
Dr. Haynes, would you please come forward?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Shiflett. Ms. Lynette Nelms, would you please stand? Ms. Lynette Nelms earned a Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education at Westchester University. She is a National Board Certified Teacher. She has a Master of Science in Curriculum and Instruction from Regent University and a leadership endorsement from the George Washington University. Ms. Nelms has been employed with Hampton City Schools since August 1993. She has taught at Mallory Elementary School, Cooper Elementary School, and Tarrant Elementary School. Most recently, Ms. Nelms served as assistant principal at Bryan Elementary School and has also served as summer school coordinator at Jones Magnet Middle School. We welcome Ms. Nelms as the interim principal at Bryan Elementary School, home of the Patriots.
Dr. Cooper?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Shiflett. I'm pleased to introduce to you tonight Dr. Bruce Copeland. Would you stand, please? He's our new coordinator of school social work services. Dr. Copeland received his bachelor's in social work from Norfolk State University. He received his master's in social work from Norfolk State University. He received his doctorate in social work from Norfolk State University. Could we have a Go Spartans here? Dr. Copeland is coming to us from Norfolk Public Schools, where he has an extensive history as a school social worker. He worked for over 23 years as a school social worker. In addition to his work in a school setting, he also is a licensed clinical social worker and has worked in clinical settings extensively. And finally, lastly, to his great credit, he provides mental health services on a volunteer basis through a free clinic in Suffolk. And we are very pleased to have him in a leadership role here in Hampton City Schools. Dr. Copeland.
And Dr. Woods.
Good evening, Mrs. Mugler, Mr. Pearson, school board members, Dr. Shiflett, and the community. We are pleased to introduce Mr. Jeffrey Mordica as the new principal, Kecoughtan High School. Mr. Mordica is actually returning to us. He was previously an assistant principal at Kecoughtan. Most recently, he has served as a principal at Smithfield Middle School. He is a monarch through and through. He earned his bachelor's and master's degree in elementary and middle education from Old Dominion University, as well as his master's degree in educational leadership K-12 from Old Dominion University. He was also an assistant principal at Sims Middle School from 2004 to 2007. Please welcome Mr. Mordecai back to Hampton City Schools as the principal of Kickingham High School. His beautiful family is here as well. We'll ask them to stand. Mrs. Mordecai and his two daughters, Logan and Madison, his support system.
Thank you so much. And I believe there may be some other family members present. Is that? Ms. Nelms, do you have some family members present? I want to say how very, very happy we are to have all of you join the Hampton City Schools family. We look forward to working with you and providing the support that you need to be successful in your new roles in Hampton City Schools. Welcome to the family.
That concludes your reports. And I just want to reiterate Dr. Shiflett's welcome and re-welcome to some of you folks, and congratulations on some of the promotions. But we are so pleased to each of you, new administrators and staff and members, and we're just thrilled to have you here as part of Hampton City Schools, and we look forward to working with each of you and wish you the best of luck in your roles, and we know you're going to do a great job for us. We move on to the hearing of delegations or the presentation of any written communications or petitions. At this time, Ms. Bowers, would you please present the protocol for our public comment period?
Citizens are invited to address the school board on matters of public concern about the school division. Speaker forms are available prior to the start of the meeting. If you wish to address the school board, please complete the form and give it to the clerk. Each individual will have 5 minutes to speak. All comments shall be directed to the school board. Speakers may not yield their time to another. Speakers should address the school board with decorum on policy issues and refrain from personal attacks. Speakers shall not address matters involving individual employees or students, as these topics may violate confidentiality and are not appropriate in a public forum. Presentation of resolutions, declarations, proclamations, manifestos, awards, or other similar documents not originated under the auspices of the school board or administration is prohibited during the public comment period. The audience is asked to be respectful of all speakers. Public comment is the school board's opportunity to listen to the speaker. Since our purpose is to hear from you, the board will not engage in dialogue with the audience or whomever is at the podium. Matters requiring a response will be directed to the superintendent for research and response. The superintendent may report back on such matters at a subsequent business meeting session as appropriate. The school board carefully considers your comments as we decide matters that are brought before us. We appreciate your attendance and your input.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers. It looks like we have one speaker for tonight, and that is Ms. Gayleen Knoyton. If you'll come to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Gayleen Knoyton. I'm the president of the Hampton branch of the NAACP, and I want to introduce to you our new education chair, which is Ann Stevens-Cherry. So she will be collaborating with the board and Hampton City Schools to keep us updated, as well as the community, on what the school board is doing. So we welcome Ann Stevens-Cherry. Also, I want to bring to your attention that in the past month, we received several concerns from residents over at Lincoln Park and through residents in the cities about the process of the relocation. There are many students over there that have not been relocated. And I want to personally thank Sonia McKeithen, who's in Director of Student Services, and we look forward to working with Dr. Copeland. I think he left already, but anyway, look forward to working with him. She said she had told me that she would help to ensure that the families will have social service representatives to help them through the relocation process and in the schools. We know that during the Harbor Square relocation process that Hampton City Schools had to make a way to keep the students in the same schools they were in even after they relocated. We don't want that to happen this time. We want to be able to get these students placed prior to the relocation, but housing is an issue, and the process, there's concerns with the process. But we're here to help. We just wanted to bring it to your attention and make sure that Hampton City Schools bring all the resources that we can make these families successful, because these students have not been relocated yet, and we're at the 11th hour, 6 weeks out before school starts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Canoy. And I do know that, Hampton City School staff is working very closely with them at Lincoln Park in that process, and they will continue to do that throughout. Thank you for your comments tonight.
May I add something
Yes,
to
ma'am.
that? Actually, Ann Bain, Susie Scott, and Raymond Haynes have already been working with the Housing Authority, so they've been on the committee and have been working with them. So we'll use any staff available to help make the transition, just as we did with Harbor Square. We know it's a difficult time for the families. But because she wasn't on it yet.
And that is the only form that I have for speakers tonight. Ms. Bowers, is that everyone? Okay, very well. And we'll move on to other items for action. Beginning with item 7.01, which is the approval of the sole source, that's a tongue twister, sole source authorization. And is there a motion to approve the sole source authorization? And is there anyone that on division leadership that would like to speak to this? Susie, would you just?
This is an annual item that we bring to the board, authorizing us to approve sole source items. Usually they're curricular, but everything is reviewed in finance. People who have a sole source procurement bring it to finance, and we review it to determine that we agree that it is a sole source product before we sign off on it, and it goes to procurement. So we get this agreement annually, and I would say probably 90% of what we approve is curricular material.
So that being said, is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the sole source authorization. It is hard to say. The sole source authorization presented to us this evening.
Second.
It's been moved by Mrs. Henry and seconded by Mr. Kilgore that we approve sole source. I don't know why that is so hard to say. Sole source authorization. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote, please?
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Madam Chairperson, once again, I was not a part of that deliberation, and I will abstain.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. We move on to the Virginia School Board Association Code of Conduct. There is a copy of the Code of Conduct attached to board docs tonight, and I believe there was also an email with the attachment sent to all board members during the last 2-week period. And so we will move forward at this time with a motion toward the adoption of the Virginia School Board Association Code of Conduct. And in doing so, as each member casts their vote tonight, if you will step forward to the table in front of Ms. Reeves and Ms. Bowers. The actual document is there, and each member is asked to sign that as you cast your vote. And at this time, I'd like to have the document itself read into the record. Mr. Kilgore, would you do the honors, please?
Sure, if it will come up. Here we go. Okay. The VSBA Code of Conduct for School Board Members. As a member of my local school board, I will strive to be an advocate for students and to improve public education, and to that end, I will have integrity in all matters and support the full development of all children and the welfare of the community, Commonwealth, and nation. 2, I will attend scheduled board meetings. 3, I will come to board meetings informed, concerning the issues under consideration. 4, I will make policy decisions based on the available facts and appropriate public input. 5, I will delegate authority for the administration of the schools to the superintendent and establish a process for accountability of administrators. 6, I will encourage individual board members' expression of opinion and establish an open, two-way communication process with all segments of the community. 7, I will communicate in accordance with board policies, public reaction and opinion regarding board policies and school programs to the full board and superintendent. 8, I will bring about desired changes through legal and ethical procedures, upholding and enforcing all laws, state regulations, and court orders pertaining to schools. 9, I will refrain from using the board's position for personal or partisan gain and avoid any conflict of interest or the appearance of impropriety. 10, I will respect the confidentiality of privileged information and make no individual decisions or commitments that might compromise the board or administration. 11, I will be informed about current educational issues through individual study and participation in appropriate programs such as those sponsored by my state and national school board associations. 12, I will always remember that the foremost concern of the board is to improve and enhance the teaching and learning experience for all students in the public schools of Virginia. Therefore, I will always strive to demonstrate appropriate behavior, conduct as a public school board member.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the Code of Conduct?
Madam Chairman, I move that we adopt the PSBA Code of Conduct for school board members.
Second.
It's been moved by Mrs. Henry and seconded by Mr. Pearson that we adopt the Virginia School Board Association Code of Conduct for school board members for 2014-15. Ms. Bowers, is there any discussion? Ms. Bowers, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Yes. As you vote, if you'll go forward and,
Aye.
and sign the document.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. And without objection, we'll take like a 2-minute recess in order for the signatures to take place. Okay, we will move on with our other items for action. And we move to item 7.03, the minutes of school board meeting June 4. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Harper and seconded by Mrs. Smith that we approve the school board minutes of the meeting of June 4, 2014. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Madam Chairwoman, because I was not a part of that deliberation, I will abstain.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. Item 7.04, the minutes of school board meeting June 18, 2014.
Madam Chairman, I move that we consider item 7.04, the minutes, and 7.05 through 7.07, the certification of closed sessions as one item, and that we approve those matters as presented.
Second.
This has been moved by Ms. Henry and seconded by Mr. Pearson that we approve items 7.04 through 7.07 as a block. Those include the minutes of school board meeting June 18, closed session of June 4, closed session of June 14, closed session of June 18, and that's it. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, may we pull item 7.06 from there, because I was not in attendance for that closed session and need to abstain.
Okay.
Okay, let me amend my motion then to include item 7.04, 7.05, 7.07 as one item.
Mr. Pearson, do you concur?
Second.
It has been moved that we approve items 7.04, 5, and 7, which include the minutes of school board meeting June 18, the closed session of June 4, and the closed session of June 18. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Madam Chairperson, because I was not a part of that deliberation, I will abstain.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. We return to item 7.06, the certification of closed session of June 14. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the certification of the closed session for June 14th.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Kilgore and seconded by Ms. Henry that we certify the closed session, we approve the certification of the closed session of June 14. Is there any discussion? Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Once again, Madam Chairperson, I was not a part of that deliberation, and I abstain.
Ms. Smith?
Abstain.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 7.08, we have a number of policy issues to vote on tonight, which include the revision or deletion of school board policies along with 2 new board policies. Is there a motion with regard to them as a group, or do we wish to take those individually?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve action item 7.08 through 7.17 as a block.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Kilgore and seconded by Mrs. Smith that we approve items 7.08 through 7.17, which include the review of school board policy BDD, quorum, school board policy IIBEB, electronic mail, email, the revision of school board policy KGB, public conduct on school property, item 7.11, new school board policy KF, the distribution of information and materials. Item 7.12, new school board policy KA, goals for school and community relations. Item 7.13 includes the deletion of school board policies GBAD and IBA, neutrality of distributed materials, the deletion of school board policy KNAH and KNAI, relations with parks and recreation authorities. Item 7.15, the deletion of school board policy KM, relations with community organizations. Item 7.16, revision of school board policy DJA, purchasing authority. And finally, 7.17, the revision of School Board Policy DK, payment procedures. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. That completes our items on information. At this time, we'll move on to our deliberation portion of the agenda, which includes the items 8.01 through 8.03, beginning with 8.01, which is the VPSA resolution. And Ms. Scott. Hello.
Bring before the board on an annual basis. VPSA is Virginia Public School Authority, and they sell bonds each year in the spring to provide funding to school divisions for technology improvements. For the bonds that were sold this past spring in May, the school division is eligible for funding in the amount of $830,000 as a base amount, and that's what we get based on the number of schools that we have in the division, plus you get an amount just for the division itself. We also are eligible for the e-Backpack initiative for two of our high schools, Hampton High School and Phoebus High School, and so we have funding for that. The way VPSA works is that it is a reimbursable grant. So we have to purchase the items out of our own funding first and then be reimbursed from the grant. This resolution, the board is authorizing the school division to make those advance purchases and then reimburse ourselves from the grant proceeds. This year, our eligible funding under VPSA is $1,158,000 is the maximum amount, and so we are requesting that this resolution be approved, authorizing us to spend up to that $1,158,000, which excludes the local match for VPSA funding, and the bonds were sold in the spring and are available to us for reimbursement. Are there any questions?
Questions from board members for Ms. Scott? Ms. Henry?
I just have one question. Is there a suspense date on this? Do we need this to move this to action, or are we fine doing this in August?
Well, I know that Mr. Eagle is very anxious to move forward with the purchases under the $830,000 part, so if it pleased the board, we would request that it be moved forward if possible.
Okay. Thank you.
I will entertain a motion at this time, unless, are there other questions from board members? Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we move the approval of the VPSA resolution from deliberation to action.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Henry and seconded by Mr. Kilgore that we move the VPSA resolution from our deliberation to action. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. This item is now moved to action, and so at this time, I will entertain a motion regarding the resolution.
Madam Chair, I move that the board approve the VPSA 2014-2015 resolution.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Kilgore and seconded by Mrs. Smith that we approve the VPSA 2014-15 resolution. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. So, Mr. Eagle is closer to getting some more hardware and software. Item 8.02 is our budget amendment, which is on tap for deliberation. And Ms. Scott, that's you on tap again.
All right, good evening again, Mrs. Mugler, Mr. Pearson, members of the board, and Dr. Shiflett. I'm here tonight to talk about, believe it or not, amendments to the FY15 budget. I don't believe we have ever gone into the middle of July still working on the budget that took effect July the 1st, but here we are. It's been an interesting year. So we're here to sort of summarize what's happened since the board approved the original budget on April the 2nd and where we are now. All right. As of April the 2nd, the board had adopted a budget of $195,134,940. Since then, the City Council passed a motion to increase the personal property tax rate from $4.25 to $4.50 per $100 of value, 25-cent increase. Because of that, we gained, through our local contribution formula, an additional $589,174 in funding through local contribution, which represents half a year of the proceeds that they would get because the rate doesn't change until January the 1st, and that'll become important a little bit later. At that time, based on having the additional funding, we decided to add back the furlough that we had in the original budget. We had a furlough day for all employees who worked 184 or more days in the original budget. And we added back 75% of the National Board Certified Teacher supplement. As you recall, all supplements were cut by 25%, and then in the original budget, we had eliminated the NBCT supplement. And so with this money from the personal property tax increase, we restored 75% of the NBCT so that it was cut the same 25% as other supplements. Since that time, we have also made a few other changes. As you recall, we had some efficiencies at Bridgeport Academy that were made in the original budget, and that has been reconfigured a little bit. There were originally going to be 2 part-time positions, and instead, when they started looking at it and really trying to figure out how to put those efficiencies to work and make the best use, they determined that rather than 2 part-time positions, they would be better served by a full-time position, a secretary one at the Performance Learning Center. But they went within the budget and moved some funds around to cover the difference between the 2 part-time and the full-time position. So those 3 things that you see right there net to zero. The 26,804 and the 10,375 cover the 37,179. But it was important because it's changing. Instead of 2 part-time positions, there's a full-time position. Other changes that we have made, we removed $9,000 from a line item in the student services budget that we determined had been put in there and was no longer needed. Was put in there several years ago and was no longer needed. So we moved that on a temporary basis to contingency, since at that point we were still waiting for the final state budget. We reclassified a position in school operations and maintenance, a contract specialist position, to a school operations project manager, and the change in salary and benefits there was $44.51. We also have 3 teacher specialists, 2 math and a science position, that previously have been split funded between Fund 50, our school operating budget, and Title I, which is a grant budget. Under Title I, not only has the funding for Title I gotten very tight over the years, they're really, talk about doing more with less. They truly are doing more with a lot less. But in addition to that, the time and effort reporting under the grants has become much stricter and something that's looked at much more closely. And so because being split funded that way, they had to not only keep track of their time, but be very careful about how much time they were spending in non-Title I schools. And it really tied up our flexibility in terms of using their skills to the maximum benefit of the division and being able to put them in the schools where they were really needed without worrying about that 70-30 split. So we determined in order to best serve the students of the division, we really needed to fund them 100% out of Fund 50, out of our operating budget. And so the cost to put that 70% that had been in Title I into Fund 50 is $168,076. We covered that by actually adding it to our attrition. You may recall we always have a line in our budget for attrition. It's kind of a negative expenditure. It's what we anticipate that we will have in personnel savings as a result of staff turnover during the year, leave without pay, anything that causes staff members not to be paid or for there to be gaps in the filling of a position. And so we added that to our attrition line to cover it. The teacher extra class supplement, when we did the original 25% reduction to all supplements at the time, we said excluding basic needs provider supplement, which is for those that are serving special education and high needs medical children, and we didn't want to reduce that particular supplement. But what we missed at the time was that the supplement for a teacher of 1 extra class or 2 extra classes was also captured in that, and we did not intend to reduce that supplement either. And so as we were going through the detail of actually making the changes, we realized that that had happened. And so we need $56,042 in order to restore those supplements to 100%. We had this past year an IT van driver who was a temporary employee in technology, and this person was going around to schools picking up computers that were no longer needed in the schools, determining what computers were still usable and could be sent to the repair shop and repaired and redeployed somewhere, and which ones really were not usable any longer and could be cannibalized, sold for parts, or just auctioned off as surplus. And so that person's salary really was being more than covered through the surplus sales. At the time we did the budget and this request was brought forward, it was originally denied because we didn't have a good understanding of what was really going on. And we also thought at the time, honestly, that the van driver we already had in the division who works in printing and records could cover the function. As we got deeper into the issue, we realized that person indeed could not cover both functions. And so because of the funding that this brings in through the surplus sales, we determined it was a good investment for us to add that part-time position. And so the $13,456 is to keep that person. We do have 2 different VRS rates for our retirement. We have the professional rate, which is all teachers and administrators, and then we have the non-professional rate, which is the bus drivers and the mechanics and a handful of other positions. The non-professional rate is actually done individually. It's actually actuarially determined for each school division individually. We had projected that rate to be 12.09. It changes every 2 years with the biennium. And when we got the actual final rate, it was 10.81, which was a good bit lower than we had anticipated. Again, at the time, we were still waiting on the final state budget, and so we made the change to the expenditures and put the $205,000 in contingency as a placeholder until the state budget was finalized. Then when we got the final state budget, as you may recall from our June 18th meeting when we gave the update on that, the final state budget actually modified the VRS professional rate and the group life rate just slightly, but you'd be surprised with the number of people we have what a slight change in the rate will do. So that was a $255,000 savings from that, which we told you about in June when we did that presentation. So when you look at all, and it's a little bit hard to see on this screen, but all of the numbers that are in red from the 2 pages are the ones that, plus the $49,000 in that bottom line where it says net adjustments to contingency, including the $49,576 from June 18th. When we did all of the adjustments to the budget in that presentation, we had a net $49,000 gain that we placed in contingency at that time. So if you add up all of the numbers that are in red, that's the $570,000 adjustment, net adjustment to contingency, which brought us to where we were as of June the 18th, a budget of $195,518,093. And just to kind of summarize the position changes, as you know, we have very detailed level information in our budget book of the positions. And so in order to capture the changes that are being talked about and that will be included in the budget book, the ones that are in black at the top are the ones that were talked about on the previous 2 slides, the 2 part-time positions that were changed out for a full-time position, the upgrade of the position in school ops and maintenance, the 3 teacher specialists, and the part-time van driver. And then all of the ones that are in red below that are just title changes. So you'll see minus an apprentice and plus a plumber 2, and minus an electrician 2 and plus an electrician 3. Those are all just title changes that we've made. They actually have no monetary impact, but they will show up as changes in the budget book. So it gives us a net addition to the budget of 2.6 full-time equivalent positions, which really the 2.6 is the 3.7 teacher specialists and the 0.5 van driver. Now, we had gone to City Council in early May and requested any additional funding that they could possibly provide to us. And we gave them some suggestions at that time of what we might use the funding for. As City Council continued to deliberate and finalize their budget and look at where they were, they determined just last week that they could give us an additional $500,000, which is really an advance on the personal property tax increase for the first 6 months of the year. So although they will not benefit from the increased revenue until January from that tax rate change, they are going ahead and giving us the $500,000 that we would have gotten had it changed July 1st. So this is recurring money. It will get absorbed into the local funding formula next year because it will calculate a whole year, but they're going ahead and advancing us the $500,000. So with that $500,000, the division leadership team got together and looked at what was the best use of that funding for us to look at what we could add back to the budget. And we determined that the 2 English as a second language teachers that we eliminated from Langley really needed to be added back. We also wanted to reinstate the PALS instructional assistants, which are part-time positions that contribute to literacy in grades K through 3. And the 2 of those together take all but $268 of the $500,000, $499,732, and we would just put the $268 in contingency in order to balance the budget. So where does that leave us at this point? Well, you saw previously the $195,134 that was approved in April, the adjustments that were made between April and mid-June that brought us to a budget as of June the 18th of $195,518,093. Now with the $500,000 addition from City Council, we are asking that you approve a final, hopefully final budget of $196,018,093. And so that you can see sort of in the contingency where we are with contingency, because in the previous slides we talked about a lot of ins and outs to that. We previously had $1,232,105 in contingency, but as you recall from the June 18th presentation, we lost $384,000 in funding for K-3 class size as a result of a change in the formula for calculating how much we get. They went from having a 1-year look back at the free and reduced lunch rate to a 3-year average. And because our average has been going up, it now, a 3-year average actually reduces our funding allocation. However, the mandate for how we have to staff to be eligible for those K-3 class size funds has not changed. So we need to reserve that $384,000 to cover the staffing to be eligible for the full funding of the K-3 class size, which really leaves us a true contingency available of $847,740. So we are asking at this point that the board take our recommendation and, you know, we hopefully get it approved, but obviously that's up to you. We would like to have your feedback and then hopefully move forward with finally finalizing our budget. If there are any questions or comments?
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Are there any additional questions from board members regarding the presentation?
I guess the same question, since this has personnel implications, that individuals need to be hired, contracts are affected. Would it be more than helpful to the budget process if this were moved to action for this evening?
Yes, ma'am, it absolutely would.
And with that said, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I move that we amend our agenda to move the approval of the proposed budget amendment from deliberation to action.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Henry and seconded by Mrs. Smith that we move the budget amendment from our deliberation to action. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Madam Chairperson,
No.
This is just to move it to action.
okay. Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. We now have our budget amendment on our action agenda. And is there a motion with regard to amending the budget?
Madam Chairman, you can tell how excited we are about having to make this difficult decision. So I move that we approve the budget amendment as presented.
Second.
It has been moved by Ms. Henry and seconded by Mr. Harper that we approve the superintendent's recommendation for a budget amendment on our 2014-15 budget. Sorry, all of a sudden I was thinking my years were going.
Yeah, no, that's right.
On. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Kilgore?
Yes, I have to read a statement. As a member of the school board of the city of Hampton, Virginia, I acknowledge that I have an interest in the FY 2014-2015 school operating budget because my wife is an employee of Hampton City Schools. However, I believe that I am able to participate in the vote on the budget fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. I believe that what we should be doing is restoring the supplements that were cut. Therefore, my vote is no.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
I have a statement likewise to read. As a member of the school board of the city of Hampton, Virginia, I acknowledge that I have an interest in the FY 2014-2015 school operation budget because my wife is an employee of the Hampton City Schools. However, I believe that I am able to participate in the vote on the budget fairly, objectively, and in the public's interest. I vote aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Also, as a member of the school board of the city of Hampton, Virginia, I acknowledge that I have an interest in the FY 14-15 school operating budget because my wife is an employee of the Hampton City Schools. However, I believe that I am able to participate in the vote on the budget fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
I do not have any relatives that are staff members at Hampton City School, but I do want to just state for the record that I would prefer that we support the restoration of the 25% decrease in supplements. And in addition to that, there was an additional item added to the amendment that was not presented to our appropriating body. Therefore, my vote is no. Motion carries. We move on to item 8.03, Todd's Lane lease agreement. And we had some discussion regarding said agreement in the earlier closed session. Is there anything further, Ms. Reeves, that you need to present to the board regarding this lease agreement?
There is not. Did you need me to summarize it for the public, or?
I don't think that's necessary. And And this item is somewhat time-sensitive.
It is, we were hoping that the new lease would be able to be put in place by August 1. So if it's possible to move it to action, it would be preferred.
Madam Chairman, let me just be consistent for this evening and request that we move this item. Our scheduling for this meeting has kind of thrown some monkey wrenches into things that staff would have liked to have taken care of earlier. It's really not that our agenda normally requires this much amendment. But I would like to move that we change the Todd's Lane lease agreement from deliberation to our action agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Henry and seconded by Mr. Kilgore that we move the Todd's Lane lease agreement from deliberation to action. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Mr. Smith? Ms. Smith? Aye. Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. The Todd's Lane lease agreement is now part of our action agenda tonight, and I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the Todd's Lane lease agreement as presented on Board Docs.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Kilgore and seconded by Mr. Pearson that we approve the Todd's Lane lease agreement as presented on Board Docs. Is there any discussion? There being none, Ms. Bowers, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Pearson?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to informational items. As required by law, we provide notice that Hampton City Schools policies are available to the public online at www.hampton.k12.va.us. Printed copies are also available in the school administrative offices. The next meeting of the school board for the city of Hampton will be held on August the 6th at 6:30 p.m. in Jones Magnet Middle School. And our next work session will be held on August 20th, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. at the Rupert Sargent Building, 1 Franklin Street. And we move now to other informational items. I turn things first to Dr. Shiflett.
I recently sent out to you a listing of all of the locations where summer school is being held. I hope you'll have an opportunity to go out and visit the summer learning that's taking place. And I invite any of you who'd like to have a slice of birthday cake to join me afterwards.
Are there any other informational items from board members?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
There was an article in this morning's paper about Dwight Hollier, who is a graduate of Kickingham High School. He's the Director of Counseling Services for past, current, and future NFL football players. There were some quotes by Carl Francis. I wish the article had mentioned that Carl Francis is also a graduate of one of our city schools. He played football at Bethel High School. He's involved in the Office of Communications. So Hampton City Schools should be very proud, I know their families are, that we have two former high school football players who are actively involved in the administration in the NFL.
Morocco.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Any other informational items from board members to bring forth? Well, it would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that we do have a new board member sitting amongst us at our table. I'd like to welcome Mr. Jason Samuels. Probably should have done that earlier in the meeting, but want to acknowledge your presence here tonight and look forward to working with you as the years roll forward. Our also new student liaison, want to welcome you, Malcolm, to the board table, and we look forward to hearing the student perspective that you bring to us this year. Do you have anything you want to share with us tonight yet? Or okay. If there is nothing further to come before this body, then this meeting is adjourned.